Don't call me a widow. I know that's technically what I am, but I don't like it. It doesn't feel like me. It feels like a label someone hands you when something terrible happens, like, here, this is who you are now. And I'm like, no, that word doesn't tell you anything about my life. It doesn't tell you about Steve. It doesn't tell you that I spent 14 years loving him, taking care of him, fighting right alongside him while he battled brain cancer. 14 years. That's not a moment. That's a lifetime inside a lifetime. People hear caregiver and they picture this soft, patient, angelic person who never gets tired. Yeah, no. I mean, I loved him with everything I had, but I was also exhausted. There were days I didn't know how I was going to get through the next hour, let alone the next year. There were moments I was frustrated, overwhelmed, even angry, and then immediately felt guilty for it. Because how do you say, this is hard for me, when the person you love is the one actually suffering? So you don't say it, you just keep going. You learn how to function on no sleep, high stress, and pure love. You learn how to sit in doctors' offices like it's your second home. You learn a whole language you never asked to speak. Test results, medications, side effects, and in between all of that, you try to have a life. And we did. We laughed, we had normal moments, we argued over stupid things like what to eat or what to watch, and honestly, those arguments, those were wins. Because for a second, cancer wasn't in the room. But I'll tell you something people don't expect. Sometimes he drove me crazy. There were times he just would not listen to me. And I'd get so frustrated. I'd call his sister Pat and be like, can you talk to him? Because he's not listening to me. And I knew when she got on the phone, she'd say, Steve, listen. But here's the thing, she knew and I knew this was just Steve, being stubborn, holding on to whatever independence he still had. And I'd look at him and his eyes would have that little twinkle, that smile on his face, like he knew exactly what he was doing. And I'd be standing there trying to stay annoyed, and I couldn't. Because in that moment, I realized something. I didn't actually want him to just agree with everything. I didn't want him to stop being himself. I wanted him to fight me a little, because that meant he was still him. That meant cancer didn't take that part. And as long as that part of him was still there, somehow, in my mind, everything was going to be okay. And those are the moments you hold on to. Not the hospital visits, not the fear, the personality, the spark, the little things that made them them. Because when it's all over, that's what you miss. And then one day, everything just stops. All the noise, all the chaos, all the routines you built your life around, it just disappears. And what you're left with is quiet. And nobody warns you how loud that quiet is. It's not peaceful. It's empty. At first, people are there. They check in. They bring food. They say, I'm so sorry, and they mean it. But slowly, the messages get less. The world keeps moving. And you're standing there like, wait, how is everything just continuing? Because your world didn't just change, it ended. And now you're supposed to figure out how to live in this completely different one. And people will say things like, you're so strong. And I know they mean it as a compliment, but sometimes I want to say, I didn't choose this. This isn't strength. This is, what else was I supposed to do? There's no option where you just tap out of grief. You wake up, you get through the day. That's it. Some days, that's the biggest accomplishment. And then there are these weird moments where something makes you laugh, like really laugh. And for a split second, you forget. And then right after, it hits you again. And you think, am I allowed to feel okay for a second? And I'm learning, yeah, you are. Because grief isn't this one thing. It's not just sadness. It's love with nowhere to go. It's memories that show up uninvited. It's missing someone in the smallest, strangest moments, like seeing something in a store and thinking, oh, Steve would have liked that. Or wanting to tell him something and realizing you can't. And that doesn't go away. You just learned how to carry it differently. I used to think healing meant getting back to who I was before all of this. But that version of me, she doesn't exist anymore, and honestly, she shouldn't. Because 14 years of loving someone through something like that, it changes you. Losing them changes you. So now it's not about getting back, it's about figuring out who I am now. And some days, I don't know. Some days I feel okay. Some days I don't. Some days I laugh at something completely stupid, and for a second life doesn't feel so heavy. And other days, the grief just sits there with me, like an uninvited guest that doesn't know when to leave. And maybe that's just what this is. Not something you get over, but something you learn to live with. So no, don't call me a widow. That word is too small for what this actually is. I'm someone who loved deeply. I'm someone who showed up every single day for 14 years. I'm someone who lost the person I built my life with. And now, I'm someone who is trying, some days better than others, to keep going, to find moments that still matter, to laugh when I can, to cry when I need to not have it all figured out and be okay with that. Because maybe life is serious, of course it is, but maybe it's not meant to be heavy every single second. Maybe even here in the middle of grief, there's still room for a breath, for a small smile, for a moment where you just exist and think, okay, I made it through today. And right now, that's enough. And if you're watching this and you're in it right now, whether you're taking care of someone, whether you've lost someone, or whether you're just trying to understand what someone else is going through, just know this. There isn't a right way to do this. There isn't a timeline. There isn't a moment where everything suddenly makes sense again. Some days will feel heavier than others. Some days might even feel okay, and that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It just means you're human. I used to think I had to get to the other side of this, like there was some finish line where the pain would stop and everything would feel normal again. But I don't think that's how it works. I think you just keep going. You carry them with you in the way you think, in the way you love, in the little things you notice now that you never did before. And somehow, they're still part of your life, just in a different way, and maybe that's enough. Maybe it doesn't have to be perfect or tied up neatly. Maybe it's just about waking up, breathing, getting through the day, and holding on to the moments that still feel like something. So if you're struggling, you're not behind, you're not broken, you're just in it, and if you made it through today, that counts. That always counts.